Now then.
Richard Turnbull, a Jimmy Savile impersonator, has swapped the Yorkshire club circuit for an olive farm in the Tuscan hills, along with his wife Sarah and their 3-year-old son Gregory. Realising that olive oil wasn't going to pay the bills, they did up half the farmhouse and a barn for holiday lets. They live in the other half of the farmhouse, a glorified shed, and the sacrifices soon led to harsh words.
He excels in making my life actually just that little bit more difficult than it has to be.
Now, hoping to supplement their income with EU farming grants, they invest in livestock and need to expand their plans for the land. But new arrivals put the novice farmers to the test. Feeding hungry guests the traditional way proves to be a challenge.
Oh, gosh. I think the olive oil set fire.
And with the birth of her baby looming, Sarah faces the worry of overcoming both the language and the pain barrier.
I'm really, really scared this time round, and not understanding what's going on doesn't help.
It's high summer. Casa del Sole is fully booked, and Sarah's up early deploying her sophisticated marketing skills. The personal touch brings all-important added value to the guests' holiday experience.
Good morning. Here, take those. Take something. It looks pretty anyway, doesn't it?
It does. Are they fresh today?
They just literally picked this 2 seconds ago.
Very good. Lovely.
Okay.
With guests occupying all the renovated parts of the estate, Richard and Sarah are exiled to the ramshackle side of the farmhouse. In preparation for the new baby, they take out yet another loan and splash out on some civilised sanitation. But nothing goes to waste. Richard remodels the old outside loo and shower as a well-appointed sheep pen ready for the arrival of the new flock. As usual, resourceful Richard has a cunning plan.
I shall get rid of this sink, but what I think I might do, I might just put it in their pen and use it as a trough, a drinking trough for them. So recycle it. In their feet, yeah.
The sheep are a gilt-edged investment, a key factor in upgrading the farm to the level needed to secure an EU grant, and they'll earn their keep in other ways.
If sort of additional work that they're going to cause in the first place of having to fence things off and what have you is offset by the fact that they will keep the grass down so we won't have to do as much grass cutting, then it's a time investment, you know, we get the payback in the future. It's safe for them to be in here at night and you know, they're secure out there that they can't escape. There is an electric light and there's a PowerPoint, all mod cons for the sheep. They can sort of sit here with the paws and go, oh look, sunny again.
The baby's due in 3 weeks' time. Sarah's desperately emailing the expat community, trying to track down an English-speaking doctor. The latest consultation with her Italian gynecologist has left her confused and more than a little worried.
My major problem, which I just threw in as an afterthought with my gynecologist yesterday, was, okay, so if I'm going for a trial of labour, what are my options for pain control? And she said, what are your options for what? And so I kind of said, you know, gas and air, what happens with an epidural, at what point do you give me, can I request? And she said, no, we don't do pain control, we don't do drugs. This is only what I understand, and I might be wrong, so I need to know that I will not go through a natural birth without any pain control. And I want to be absolutely clear how closely I'll be monitored.
A safe vote.
Gregory, I laboured for 26 hours and he got into difficulties, his heart rate dropped. All of a sudden it was a very big emergency caesarean. And it's the most scary thing to have gone from being the person who said, it's fine, it'll be fine, to the person who's being told that, you know, baby nearly died. So, consequently, I'm really, really scared this time round, and not understanding what's going on doesn't help.
Sì, sì. Sara Fraser. Sì, sì.
Richard phones the hospital to try and find out whether there are any English speakers on the staff. If the language barrier can't be surmounted, Sarah's decided to go back to England to have the baby.
A che ora?
If Sarah was to go back to England to have the baby, it would mean us being apart for, you know, quite some time before she'd be able to come back, you know, to Italy with the baby, and, you know, me and Gregory would stay here, maybe go back a couple of times, and that would be emotionally as painful as having the child. Is physically painful.
Grazie, grazie. Ciao, ciao, ciao.
Thank you, darling.
Prego.
Molto bene.
Success. At the very hospital Sarah's booked into, a sympathetic English-speaking doctor is found. Unfortunately, he won't be present at the birth, but at least he can talk Sarah through the intricacies of confinement Italian style.
Air conditioned and television set.
Air conditioning.
Okay. In Italy there is not a real birth plan, but you can talk to the anesthetist and you can choose eventually to have a peridural.
At what stage do you stop administering epidural?
At the end.
So there isn't a stop. And
there is no risk because I told you the dose of the drug is not
it's
very
so low.
heavy. Yeah.
Okay.
So you can move your legs, you can cooperate, you can participate.
That's amazing. I just thought there was no pain control at all.
No, there is a pain control. That's the room for instrumental deliveries. It's a bit scary, but now it's empty.
This is my second baby, so I kind of understand.
Okay.
First baby, I would be scared.
We don't use at all forceps.
Okay.
We prefer to go to the theatre when there is that sort of problem.
Good.
Okay.
The doctor also makes a thorough check of Sarah's case notes.
They look entirely normal.
I feel much better now. Having spoken to you because you speak English, and having seen because everybody's so friendly and the wards are so nice. And
Don't be worried. The monitoring will be continuous.
I'm a lot happier staying in Italy now. Everything's on my side now, I feel. And the best thing is the hospital's literally at the bottom of the road.
Okay.
The sheep have arrived. It's not much of a flock, just 3 ewes and a ram, but at €200 apiece, and with their potential as EU grant earners, their money on legs.
Do they prefer being approached from the front, from the side, from behind? You know,
They prefer, they won't move forward if you pull them.
Yeah.
If you want a sheep to move, you do this.
okay.
See?
Yeah.
And if she doesn't want to, you just touch her tits.
Richard gets his truck out to taxi them up the hill. It's a slow and bumpy ride.
Today's the day that we achieve one of the big dreams of having sheep. I'm hoping that they're going to be kind to us and know what to do, more or less. It's going along, up to the right, and then in.
David, the breeder, spots a flaw in the lovingly crafted pen. It's got holes.
One day they'll get out.
Friends down here, the bottom rung isn't just low enough. It just needs to be a bit lower than it is.
For the second journey, Richard's toy is abandoned in favour of more traditional sheep wrangling techniques. But this sheep has attitude. Meanwhile, back at the pen, the first sheep has found one of the holes.
Where is the other one? Where's the one that was in the pen?
Right there, behind you.
Oh, bollocks. Just fencing this bit off, just so we don't... We've lost one.
Rich spends hours making a pen and then lose a huge, great, bloody hole in it that they can get out of. I'm so cross with him.
What should we do about the other one, David?
Which other one?
The one that was in here.
Oh, she escaped.
Yes, she's nipped round the back for Crafty.
We have to find her.
Okay.
15 acres surrounded by dense woodland. Richard has lost his sheep and doesn't know where to find it. After an hour's desperate search, Richard spotted something.
It was just straight up there. Its bottom was there, straight up on the edge of the wood.
On the edge of the wood, and it's gone into the wood.
Stepped into
All
the
right.
wood. Just get a bucket and rattle it. So if I coax her this way, at least she's aiming for something. She's not just running aimlessly.
The plan is put into action. Sarah tries to tempt the sheep out with the promise of food, and Richard brings out a pen pal as a lure.
Come on, bye. Bye. Is it exactly where you are, Sarah? Just tell me. Bye. Bye. Come on. Bye. Bye. All right, she's coming.
It works. But having got the sheep into the pen, the next task is to get them out again and into the fenced-off area amongst the olive trees, where they can earn their keep as lawn mowers.
Hopefully it'll come out the door, I'll be leading one of them, and Sarah will be positioned down there near the new pen with the bucket of feed, and they'll hopefully follow the one that I've got down to the feed and into the pen. Fingers crossed. This is good. What's all the fuss about then?
That was professional.
Count, make sure we got them all.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah!
Well done, Daddy.
Just in case, I want you to tell Mummy what they're called.
Faith, Hope, and Charity, and Enrico.
Yeah, that's good.
The farm shop at Casa del Sole has expanded to sell more than just olive oil. Richard spotted another gap in the market, the homegrown vegetable surplus.
Have you got any onions? No. Oh, I'm sorry. Shall I let you do this?
No.
I'll come back to you later.
Sarah, have we got any onions?
Littler ones.
The first month of people stopping, we've actually earned about £300 extra with them buying things from the shop. So it is going to be quite a large sum of money, or potentially quite a large sum of money, and it's something that people like doing, like this lady, I want to see some of the olive oil, what vegetables have you got? It's a nice interaction thing, it's a nice part of the holiday, and also financially it's a nice little earner really for us.
The farm shop has struck gold and inspired Richard and Sarah in another scheme to part guests from their money. For €15 a time, they're providing authentic Italian evening meals. Since Richard renovated the pizza oven at the side of the house, the guests have become lucrative guinea pigs.
It's a nice sociable experience, but it's also, it's a key part of our business that, if we can provide some nice, a nice evening here that they pay for, it all helps towards financing us being here.
Hopefully people will then ask us a lot of things on the pizza party night that normally we'd have to be asked during the day, and of course it's a working farm, so we do actually work during the day. We're not on holiday and people kind of don't really understand that, I don't think.
The weather, however, scuppers the whole alfresco dining experience.
Do you mind if we eat in your house, or if you eat in your... I think out here could be a little much. I'll set your table and put your salad and stuff out.
With the air of one born to the trade, Richard shares the innermost secrets of the pizza oven.
What you do is you make the fire on one side and then sweep the fire So like that's on the left-hand side now. Sweep the fire to the right-hand side and cook where the fire's just been. It's the heat in the floor of the pizza oven that cooks the pizza rather than the heat in the oven. Are you with me, right?
And in a sort of a traditional Italian pizzeria, would they do it the same way?
Exactly the same, yeah. You know, where it's glowing really hot now, that's where your pizza's going to be in 5 minutes' time, and it should take 16 seconds.
Wow.
And we haven't got it down to 16 seconds yet. We're around 30 seconds, but one day when I've got my own pizza shop, that's what I'll be doing all night long.
Right, we'll start off with a fairly simple.
You can talk the talk all you like, but sometimes you wish you'd stuck with the man on the moped.
What's...
I don't know.
Oh, that's... No, can't. It's too thin. You've put too much.
No, it's just
too wet. You've got to make it drier.
I can't make it any... This is how it... Right, take that away, just throw it.
Brooke!
Calzone.
Oh.
Should we just try with the small one? Right, it's just going to be little ones then.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, shit. What on earth was that? I think the olive oil set fire.
Did that work anyway? Was it
Yeah,
all
it's
right?
fine.
After fashion.
There we go. Pepperoni and strawberries later.
Richard, are you putting this one in or not?
Have you finished it?
Well, you said don't put anything on it.
Well, no, I said don't put as much on it.
Well, that's not as much on it,
Have you
is
put
there?
olive oil on and...
You said don't
shot
put
it?
any olive oil on.
No, put some on, not a lot.
Would you like to do
Not a
something?
lot. It's not difficult concept. Come on.
Right. Yes. You're very good under pressure, aren't you, darling?
No, you're just not listening.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I should hang on your every word because you're my husband.
It's a long wait. Starvation threatens. But finally, Richard and Sarah managed to deliver.
Cheers.
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 Cheers. Oh.
Cheers.
Cheers, Evie.
The next day, disaster. After only 2 weeks of the sheep being at Casa del Sole, the flock of 4 is now 3. Enrico, the unruly ram, is dead. Richard and Sarah's dogs never worried the sheep. But during the night, stray hunting dogs breached the pen.
I didn't really think that dogs would be able to bring down a grown sheep anyway. Or I mean, I knew they could, but I just didn't think it would happen.
To prevent further deaths, Richard and Sarah decide to throw in the towel and take the remaining sheep back to the breeder.
Absolutely gutted, actually, because it was a really, really high point of us being here and our plans for life here. We've kind of failed because we couldn't protect the sheep and we couldn't guarantee their safety. You know, personally, I feel that I failed in that, and it's a big price to have paid.
It's a major blow to Sarah and Richard's plans for the land. Not only are they out of pocket, but without the sheep they won't get their farming grant. Expanding the olive groves won't be sufficient. They'll have to find an alternative.
Sheep was one option, but there are other options as well, such as getting bees that will produce honey that we can then sell to produce revenue. But it's going to happen in the next 12 to 18 months that we'll qualify for the farm status.
You have to choose, I think, between the holiday business and going for a livestock farm. And I think at this point, the holiday business pays the mortgage.
Pacia, the 31st of July. Marco Turnbull was born, weighing 7 pounds and 2 ounces. Despite her worries about giving birth in Italy, there were no complications.
Gregory, do you think he looks like you?
Yeah.
So the whole experience was really, really, really positive. It was fabulous. I wasn't frightened, and that's the most important thing. If I do have another baby, I would certainly, without a doubt, stay here. Absolutely.
After a short stay in hospital, Marco gets to see his new home.
Big fella.
He'll have to get used to being part of the family firm now.
Hi.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
There's no maternity leave for Sarah. It's business as usual.
I've come home this evening and we've got people in the farmhouse. They're all here and installed. But the Chestnut House people have got a really late flight and aren't arriving until 12:30 tonight. Richard will have to go out and collect these people from town and come back. They'll have to ring us at that time when they arrive in town and see if we can get them. Such is life, eh? That's what we do for a living now.
It was over a year ago that Richard and Sarah made the biggest move of their lives and swapped their Yorkshire semi for a ramshackle 15-acre farm in Tuscany.
When we first arrived at Casa del Sol and we first walked up the path here, it was a really magical experience for both of us. We just knew instantly this was the place that we wanted to be.
But survival meant hard graft with back-breaking days and nights on the land.
Best bit of the whole year was the olive oil coming out. Everything that we'd been through in the year kind of just sort of it melted away.
The realization that they couldn't live off olives alone has involved a huge financial risk to transform the farmhouse into holiday lets.
We owe a lot of money to a lot of people, but we know that money's coming in. You have to be brave, as it were, and put yourself in debt to start with. We were sacrificing things like holidays and things we're used to, going out and buying clothes just like that.
And sharing their paradise hasn't always been easy.
I can't remember the last time I had any time to myself, just time to put my feet up, read a book, do nothing. I'm always cooking for guests, always cleaning, washing. There's nowhere to run, there's nowhere to hide. And I found it really quite hard.
But for Richard, Sarah, Gregory and Marco, there is no going back.
Here, it just feels like we belong to the land, we belong to the house, we belong to all our animals and we belong to our olive groves and we belong together as a family. The thing that I wanted, I've got, and then I've got so many more extra cherries on top that I can't even count them.
We will do whatever it takes to stay here. There was never any question of us going back to England.
And the companion book, No Going Back, Tuscan Living by Sara Fraser, is available for $12.99. To order, call 0870 1234 344 or click onto channel4.com/shop. Next up here on 4, Michelle Collins stars in The Illustrated Mum.